Okay, this is bizarre. This morning I cut up so I've got my bag of tallow bites, right? I'm calling them pucks. So this is the jelly, that's the stock at the bottom because I boiled down in the slow cooker suet and brisket fat and meat, right? So I ended up, some look like this and some look like this. Now I want to tell you about this one. So this one, I used some when I was cooking my, this morning I had an egg with some brisket slices and some skirt steak that I'd sous vide, right? And that's, I got one of these, I cut it up and that's a piece that's left. I had a little nibble and it was good. Tasted like beef. That's what it tasted like. Delicious, salty, fatty beef, which was great. But then I was just bagging up these because some of the pucks, where is it? At the end, didn't have any stock left in it. Can you see that? So I was cutting that up here. And do you know what it reminds me of? I've already eaten, like, reminds me of browned butter. It reminds me of browned butter. It's a slightly different colour. I'm going to pull those ones out. Oh, but it's starting to melt. So they were frozen. Wow. I can't believe I'm even eating this. So, stock. I'd be interested, I'm not going to do it now, but I'd be interested to see whether that tastes like brown butter. It's a different colour to this. You can sort of see, that looks a little different. Can you see how that is brownier, looks different? I'll put them side by side. Can you see how one's whiter and one's browner? It's the browner one. I think there's only 4 or 5. I'm going to pull it out and keep that as my fat snack. It's so good. Yum. Anyway, I just thought I'd tell you because I wish I could eat. I've tried to eat a butter stick, especially when you just need some fat, right? I take an enzyme tablet or 2 and all the things, but at the end of the day, it just doesn't really agree with me. I cannot believe I'm even eating this, but it's delicious. So there you go. I'll have had enough shortly. It tastes different. It tastes different to this one. Now, these were right down the bottom. They were. I know exactly where they were on the tray when I filled them up, and they were the last of what I filled. So that means if I cook the suet and the tallow for a long time, wow. It's like it's caramelized. That's what it is. It's caramelized right at the end, whereas this one, see how white it is? It's not as caramelized. That's delicious. It's almost like sweet fat. Okay. You can sort of see the color That one. That one. Oh, 1, 2, 3. Did I say that one? That one? Anyway, I want to put them back in the freezer. I don't want them to melt. I just put them all in molds. So there's a bit of information for you about tallow. Woohoo for the win. All right, so what you can see here, the 2 frozen blocks are frozen leftover brisket trimmings. Then, I'm just going to repeat the clip. Then on the right bottom side, you'll see the white. That's suet, frozen suet. And I do add 2 more packets a little later. And then on the left, up all at the side, that soft meat, that's all the fresh brisket trimmings that I used for this. Okay, so here we go. I'm just speeding it up a little. So I stirred this. I did it for 8 hours, then another 8 hours. So that's 16 hours altogether from what you just saw originally to this here. Okay, nothing else has happened to it. I just would stir it up and leave it, leave it to go, do its thing. Now what I'm doing is, because I want to actually get all the tallow off now, and all that matter that you can see in there, the collagen, the meat, the muscle, everything in there, I'm going to put in the air fryer and make beef crackle. Beef crack, I like to call it. So I'll show you that. You can look for that video, but I might show you a picture at the end of that. So all I'm doing is just trying to get as much liquid without, there's my fabulous plate with all my bits on it. So I'm just going to strain it. That is a nut milk bag. I used to use it to make almond milk and all the things. And you can see now I've got over 2 cups. So now I'm ready to pour. These are my super cubes. The links I'll leave down below, but I'm just 3/4, well, nearly full feed, nearly full. I end up putting a little bit more in than that, and now I'm just going to do it all again. Just again trying to get as much of the dripping, the tallow out. And of course this is brisket and suet. So I bought the suet. I got the butcher to mince it all up for me. Now, as we get to the bottom, it's harder to get just the oil out. But look, we do what we can. So I'm just going to keep doing that. And then once I fill up the 1 cup measures, I'm going to go into smaller pucks so that I've got them already pre-sized for cooking. So awesome. I just love it. Straining this one. And here we go. Now, let's just pour without trying not to spill it, because the fat cleanup, there it is. It's the thing, right? I've got a degreaser, and I also use a product called K-O-H here in Australia. It's amazing for fat, to clean fat. All right, so that is the 4 1-cup measures. There's 4 cups of tallow there. How beautiful is that? And that will cool white. That will be white when it's finished. So I just wanted to just show you what happened. I got the rest of that and I ended up pouring it all into this sieve here, just because it was getting harder and harder to just take out the oil, right? So I put it all in there, let it all drip down to the bottom, and then I grabbed out my smaller portions. I've got 2 super cubes that do 1 ounce or 30 mils each, and it's great for stock. You know, you could use it for ice if you wanted to, but I don't. And also my tiny little Butter Bites, like fat bomb mold. I got that out, but I don't actually show that to you in the process. Anyway, I'm pushing out all the oil here, and then what you'll see, when I just lift it up, is that I'm just going to collect all of that tallow and put all of this, see how hot it is? I'm going to put all of that muscle meat and connective tissue and all the goodness. I'm going to pop it into the Ninja Foodie and I'm going to turn it into beef crackle. So here's just a few photos of after I poured it. They're the 30ml 1 ounce and they're the little puck. I think they're about half an ounce in each one of those. I'm yet to measure it, but that is what I got out of all of the rest of that tallow once I sieved it all. And man, is that a lot of yield for all of that. So here we go. I'm just speeding up this footage for you, but look at that little puck. I'm calling it a fatty soup puck. Please just be patient while the zooming works. The focus, sorry. Yes, so here we go. I'm just going to show you my process this morning that I went through to bag all of these up. And I just want to show you that blue. If you look at the blue tray, down on the right-hand side, you can see the one on its own. You can see the 4 in the row next to it, and then the 2 down the bottom here in the row next to that. Can you see how they're a slightly different colour? They're a brown. They're the caramelised bites. So I've learned something amazing through this. I've made tallow quite a few times, and I've never had this happen. So this was this was quite a delicious experiment for me. I'm certainly going to use some of the so let me just show you this, and then I'll tell you what I'm going to do with the big ones. So again, these are just the super cube portions. They're 30 mils or 1 ounce, close enough to 1 ounce. I think it's 29 point something something. And on the side there, it gives you, there's little lines that show you how you can do half an ounce or 15 mils, which is, it's an American tablespoon, but it's not an Australian tablespoon. Or the top line is 30 mils, and you can sort of see that I'm trying to show you the writing. But anyway, you could go to the Super Cubes website if you're interested. This is the one. These were in the fridge. They were not frozen. So the other 3 trays were frozen. So I get to that in a minute. But with these, I just want to get them all out and get them all in there. But let's get all the pucks out first. At this point, while I'm doing this, I haven't realised how delicious those ones that I'm touching right now, I haven't realised how delicious they are. I'm just sort of just pulling them out, showing you the stock, how it's settled. Some have more than, see that one? That one's a good one. There it is. There's another one, the brown butter bites. It was only when I just was tasting one that I realised what's happening here. And look, the bag ends up getting a little bit fatty and smeared, but you know, it is what it is. So that stock down the bottom, that's actually amazing to just cook. You melt a bit of butter on top of your steak, you'll end up getting that as a bit of meat gravy with it. They're the ones. See those? They're amazing. And it just works the same as it does with butter. I'm just telling you now. Here's me trying to seal the bag. With fatty fingers, there's no way you can do that. And then I try again. I don't know why. But anyway, yes, it's the perfectionist in me. So these are so cute. They're so square and they're so lovely. I really like them. Look at them. They look amazing at the bottom. And I'm definitely going to use like that. Even if I was cooking some eggs, I would use a whole puck. I mean, I know that's 30, that's an ounce of fat, and that's awesome. See that one? That hasn't got much in the bottom, but that's still not browned. That's not a browned one. You can sort of tell the color of the browned ones. And this is what I'm interested now in, working out how to do more intentionally the browned version of those. So some have got more stock in them than others. Right. And we've got one more bag, one more. Oh, so good. So you can just imagine that you've bought a brisket and you've gotten all the brisket stuff, but then all the leftover fat that you cut off. I didn't have a lot from this brisket, but I had quite a bit off of the one I did for Emma a few weeks back. And I froze I asked her if she wanted them. She didn't want them, so I froze all the bits. And that is what you saw me put into the slow cooker, along with, I had 3 packets of suet from the butcher that he had ground them up for me. So that's what I put. And it makes all this, it's like free
free fat bombs, free cooking tallow, free stock cubes. They're like stock cubes, aren't they? Stock cubes with all the healthy fat. Oh my gosh, I just love them. Now, next I try and have a go at taking out the 4 cups. What I realised in this process, it's too soft. I was pushing it from the bottom, and I'll show you the bottom. I could feel it was melting on the bottom, and I think that's because all of those were frozen, but these 4 cups here, they are not frozen. They are only refrigerated. So I've actually put them in the freezer now, and tomorrow I'm going to take them out, and 2 of them I'm actually going to cook slow. I'm going to see there. I try to get it out, but it was all melting in the bottom, so I decided to put them in the freezer. So that's all good. But what beautiful fat is that? And do you know how expensive tallow is in the shop? Oh my gosh, they charge $16-20 for a small glass jar. It's crazy, and I've already got jars out in the freezer as well. So here this is when I discover the caramel bites. So that I'm tasting that. That was delicious. I just happened to pick the one out that was caramel. So now, yeah, this is towards the end now, and I'm just showing you what I've done is I've separated out the caramel tallow bites and then the other ones, and I've got them separate. So beautiful. Enjoy.